Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you'd like to see, remember to hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is Pro Cycling Manager 2018, continuation of our career mode there, and we're all the way up to episode 63 now. We've got a one-day classic here, sprint finish. Very much favoring towards my team. 202 kilometers is the run-up to this. 48 kilometers to go here. Looking forward to this one because we've got a heck of a challenge on our hands as, well, the world's best sprinter, currently, arguably, Groenewegen, is here. And there are a lot of strong sprinters. Now, a couple crashes. Simon Geschke sadly caught up in both of them, has split the field. So at the moment, there's just 41 riders in the peloton, but I would imagine some, if not all of those, are going to come back. But we've got a little bit of a gap. It's over a minute to 22 chase riders, and then 68 half minute down from them. They should make contact pretty soon, and actually they split instead, or not, yo-yoing there. Well, anyway, I have a feeling it'll come back together, but it might not as we go under 40k to go. Now, this is fairly flat, but we do have one decent undulating chunk left coming up here in just a moment as the peloton goes back to 41 riders, so it does come back. 6 riders in the break still have over a minute ahead. So it's not even a given that they will be caught, but from that close you would think we'll get them, 35k. But here comes the big field just over a minute behind, and it looks like we'll be back up to 111. Anyway, with some really top sprinters, I have no one in the list of favorites whatsoever. Not a Gouillard, not a Marini, not a Bax. The entire team is off pace when it comes to that. You can see they're all suffering a little bit under the pace here, though the peloton actually just split a little bit further, and the gap to the break has closed considerably. Things are looking good on that front. Over a minute to the chase group, and they're having their own splits, which helps us out. Ruins their organization. Just 5 riders left off the front and 30 seconds, and they've been out there all day, so they'll almost certainly be caught. In fact, they're just right around the corner from peloton now. 28k. Here's the thing, though, and this is why I'm excited for the prospect here, for the challenge here. I brought a solid sprint team that can really turn in a nice rate of speed. On down to my domestiques, Garrison, Wachtendorf. They're my speed domestiques. It's amazing that on here, Case Bowl is still one of the weaker sprinters on my team. As we go 43 riders now, the breakaway has been caught, and we're seeing a little acceleration at the moment. Let's speed it up. It's going to be a little bit still before we go for the attack, but it's still over a minute to 24 chase riders. I don't think they're going to get back at us. And with that, we're looking a little bit better. Groenewegen's here, Demar, Toynes, Ackerman, Van Poppel. And we're starting to lose riders off the back. So, really, they're not going to have support. I do have support, so I'm excited by that prospect. Now, Garrison's going to be the first one to go. Actually, he's not going to be the first one to go. He's just about gone now. Wachtendorf is going to be the next one to go, so we'll use his gel. Garrison's done. He's going to drop out the back, and he and about 10 others from the looks of it. Yeah, it's down to 33. 10 already dropped, and there's another 4 or 5 on the back, 16k. R89 is a struggle right now. at the moment, I feel like I still need to wait a couple more kilometers before I even form up. There you go, Garrison out the back. Give us a quick look. There's that chase group, but they look too far down. Alright, so here we go. 5 riders just went off the front. They more than 5. So Nasser Bouani caught in no man's land. That's going to be dangerous for him. He's not great on his resistance. Groenewegen, Damar, Ackerman, Van Boppel, Alfredo, all up there. Tony Martin and Gowden plus whoever else in front of them. So it is absolutely time to form, and then we're going to try to absorb those groups along the way and do what we can. Now, the tricky part, I know Wachtendorf's going to go first, but what order to go from there, I have no idea at this point. Part of it's going to depend on the form, part of it's going to depend on numerous other factors. Bax is a 78. Gouillard's got the ultimate speed. I think he's going to follow Bax and will kind of try to sprint more than one. They'll follow Marini, who's on a -1. Case Bull should be the next one. And then that'll mean it's Van Ginneken. So it's not as difficult as I thought. Van Ginneken's almost done here. He is down to very little energy. Wachtendorf actually looking better than Van Ginneken today. He's already on his gel, so we'll get him to go first. It's 14 kilometers, so he's going to ride at a 96 and chase these guys down. Alright, so train formed. We are chasing 8 riders, and they are not far ahead. Van Ginneken needs to get ready here. Boy, he is not doing too well. No. Alright, here's what we're going to do. Van Ginneken's going to overtake. Oh, come on, why?
There's now just 10 kilometers left.
There we go. Okay, Van Ginneken. Bull's going to follow you. And there we go. Give me your little burst. Do something. Give me a couple 100 meters. It used up the last of Wachtendorf, but at least I got a little something from Van Ginneken, right? On the Case Bull. And that's 4 guys for 10k. That's a little more than I want. So Case Bull's going to have to go at a 96 here. Through that roundabout. Little confusion. Placement. There we go. It's down to 8k. So he's already nearly covered what he needs to cover. So Case Bull can go a little bit faster. We'll get Marini ready. Gouillard's struggling. I hope he does not run out of energy. But we have reeled in those breakaway riders and will now have a chance to overtake them. Bull goes to the top. That's 5k. And now it's on to Marini. Just 15 riders left, so we're already looking at a top 15 placing. Okay, on to Bax, 2.3k. Gouillard, don't run out of energy, don't run out of energy. Bax, sprint, sprint, sprint. Oh, Gouillard's running out of energy. He's running out of energy. Nah! That's that stupid resistance for Gouillard. Hofstetter takes the win over Ackerman, over Max Cantor, who's on my 2019 career mode team. Groenewegen takes 4th, Toynes, Van Poppel, Damar, Bax takes 8th, Gouillard takes 9th, so we at least still get 2 guys inside top 10. Johan Alfredo, who in real life not a sprinter, but here in game has developed into one here in the 2018. Geschke takes 19th. After his 2 crashes, he still manages a good placing. Not a terrible result. But that little punchy climb, a little ways before the end, that did, well, actually those series of little punchy ones right before I came back and then after we came back, really did some damage to my team, which are all pure sprinters, and they all suffered. Not one guy had a healthy yellow bar of resistance there in the run-up. We waited almost as late as we could, but energy drained quite quickly. Gouillard, as is so often the case for him, really struggles to keep up with others. Bax ultimately should have been the one sprinting because of that. But yeah, at that point it's a little late to try to swap the two in just the final couple kilometers. So Bax gave a lead out to Gouillard. It's a good lead out. Bax himself crosses the line in 8th, and that's usually, if your last lead out guy squeezes into the top 10, that's good. Means he really did his job and he got off the front well and he gave it his all, but he's in a good enough position that not many people overtake him. Gouillard, if he had anything left in the tank, I don't know if he's going to win that, but he's right on the front among 3, 4, 5 other guys, and he would have been much higher than his 9th place, at least top 5. But the result is what it is. We accept it, we move on. Done enough hypotheticals of what could have been on that one. Either way, you got top 12 and then splits. Alfredo, what do they have? Oh, they don't have him as a sprinter. They've got him as a Parador. Alright, well, next up, just one day from now, a constant undulation, up, down, so I'll be taking the opposite group to that one. And that's kind of the fun about being into the end of the season and not having the objectives to worry about or anything like that. We can kind of maximize our opportunities. Before we jump into that next race, though, we had some news. So the World Championships team time trial, I was not invited to that, so did not participate. EF Education First take that win over Dimension Data, over Aqua Blue in 3rd. The individual time trial, Stefan Kung, Rowan Dennis, and Wilco Kelderman above Tom DeMoulin. And then there's Lauren Cassar. Lauren Cassar is one of my riders. He's a domestique on my 2019 career mode team. And the road race for the World Championships is won by Michael Woods. So he'll be wearing the rainbow jersey next year. Romain Bardet took 2nd, Simon Yates 3rd, Youngles and Ulysses are the top 5. I leave that there as a reminder of who the heck my sponsor is going to be next year, because it slips my mind from time to time. And we'll move into that next race. Now, fitness levels are starting to fade for quite a few of the riders as they are winding their season down. It is October. We are at the end. And next season, I'm going to look to play it a little bit differently on the fitness. I definitely learned some things for 2019. One of the wonderful things about your support, those of you who are still watching this, Asoria, one of the favorites, by the way, the support on the channel has led to a tremendous increase in my subscribers and viewership, and this game has been at the core, at the heart of that. Now, when I started this playthrough, I'd been playing this game for a lot of years, and I was definitely not bad at it. It was definitely one of the better games. And my Pro Cyclist mode series for 2018, if you've followed my channel at all, you may have heard me say kind of where I was at regarding that. And though I did not win the Tour de France in there, and that goes down as disappointing and leaves me with a lot to do and makes me happy to try to do that in PCM 19. I still have something to work for, something to achieve. despite that, I came very, very close to getting the maximum points. Now, my channel, the basis for my channel is, if you even listen to the intro at all, is I'm trying to master 10 games. Well, who's to say I've mastered the games? I came up with a system on how to score, how to rank each in the process. And as it's the gaming decathlon based on the Olympic decathlon, their system, you're not ranked head-to-head with the other athletes. You're ranked on a scale based on your performance, event by event. So let's say there's 4 sprinters and 3 of them end up in a photo finish. The 4th one is 15 meters behind them as those 3 all cross the line. You're not going to have a relative scale like you would in, say, a Formula 1 race with first, second, third, and fourth place just being based off of placings, regardless of the gaps. Here, the gaps are what matter. So the guy in first place, he's going to have the most points, but the guy in second place is kind of probably be like 1 point below. The guy in third place is probably going to be 1 or 2 points below that. The guy in fourth place could be 30 or 40 points further adrift. So the gaps are what matter. The actual comparison to whatever measuring stick is being used. Well, my measuring stick for this game, and ultimately it's 1,000 points, by the way, each event, so 10,000 overall, that's the target. The measuring stick for this game is simple. Super Prestige. For Pro Cyclist mode, it's every 5 points equals 1 point, going up to 1,000. So ultimately the target is 5,000 points in a season of Super Prestige points. Team, well, there's a lot more riders. I don't have 1, so I do by 10. I divide by 10. So I need 10,000 Super Prestige points in 1 season to master the game. Well, the 5,000 for Pro Cyclists, I got so close to that. I had like 4,900. Crazy close to hitting that mark as I dominated the World Tour rankings. I was number 1, above and beyond, by far. And let's see, I need to set this up here. Bax is not going to survive till the end, so we'll get him set up. Simpson's not going to survive to the end. Veldeman is not going to survive to the end. And, is it going to be Vervecki or Swerble, though? Swerble looks really good today. So, Vervecki... 4 guys that are definitely strong for this one. Vervecki is one of the strongest, but how about resistance? I don't look at that often enough. Osorio very much has it. Conchi, not as much as he should. Swerble's looking good in that department today. So, Conchi or Vervecki? Vervecki's a slightly better climber, and today has better stamina resistance. So we are actually going to make Conchi the 4th man today. Alright, let's speed this up. Let's go take a look at who is at the front. It is Krieger and Arifin. And then we'll watch the main group. Oh, big crash. Look at that big crash back there. Splits the field. And that is 20-something riders on the ground. Oh, about 26 or so. Brian Alaphilippe in there. Anyway, it's the closest I've come on any of the games to actually mastering. I didn't get 100% of that score, so I will definitely be targeting that this year. Anyway, with that being said, I've gotten pretty good at Pro Cycling Manager, but there were still flaws. There were still things. And years ago, when the game first came out and I was trying to understand how to play it, I did some in-depth research and found out from various sources what the attributes all meant and all of that kind of stuff. And then this last year, the 2018, I did a Pro Cyclist mode tutorial. That was the first time I had done a tutorial on my channel, and I'd only done one other until just recently. So just 2 tutorials to my name. That was not really my department. I'm somebody who's trying to get good, trying to get better at games, and not necessarily claiming to be any sort of pro. But after the kind of year I had, I decided with PCM 19 that I'd offer up some tutorials. Well, I've already made 4. Got a couple more scheduled, and I'll stop at that. I'll just do 6 in all. But that's already 4 is double the total amount of tutorials that I've ever even done up till this point in my history. And let's see, Conchi, you're gonna go get water. As you're the solo writer there. Ooh, gosh, he got that water quick, but he's back up to the front of the field just about, and not doing himself any disservice. That's good. Anyway, those 2 riders, they have 4 minutes off the front. We've got 101K left to go, and you can just see from the course that we're on, it's a lot of roads through here, and there's an almost constant up, down, to what we're doing. But you can see from the aerial, it doesn't look that bad. There's certain areas where you can definitely see the speed up and slow down of the hills, but they're not crazy. That one we just went over, it was only 5%. So my guys are hanging in there relatively well, but there's definitely some pace to the field, and some of the riders are not combative. There's already 45 riders. Oh, never mind. Every time I tried to make that claim, it quickly comes back together. Anyway, in doing those tutorials and preparing for those tutorials, I went back to do the things that I did a few years back for this game. And I'd say the last time I'd done that was probably PCM 2014, where I really was trying to figure out the intricacies of the game. Now I've done that again. So when I do start this next season, that was the whole point of this, as I did go off on a bit of a tangent there. Next season, I'm going to focus a lot more on fitness levels, fatigue throughout the season, maintaining that, and not just having this realistic up-down of it, but trying to maximize what I have, what I can do. The only downside is we're still going to be Pro Continental this next season. We're not making the jump to World Tour, which was what I was really hoping for at this point in time.
Only a few riders are capable of following the very fast pace up front.
Looks like we're going to follow the same path the rest of the way. So the loop we're on right now, the version we have, is going to hit continuously. So the steepest climb, we're not seeing that one again. See, it was a double climb before. A 1-2, a 1-2, a 1-2, and the second climb was much more severe. Well, now we just have the 1-1, 1-1-1 every time. So we're now following an easier route the rest of the way. And I've still got all my guys in good shape. Peloton down to 116. We're at 50K left. So this field should begin to split a little bit. And I could put a herding in for too long, but we got to make sure we have enough. Now, Conchi, you were our guy, and we're going to the top here. This is actually a really good time. Go grab water one final time for us. Speed this back up here. 5 riders off the front, but they are just about reeled in, and they're fighting each other now, so they're losing their cohesion, making it easier to catch them. Conchi nearly back to the front. There you go. That's the finish right there, by the way. It just goes uphill just before the end. I'll have to keep that in mind. We will want to try to attack this like a sprint, and it'll be down to those guys that are left. And there's only 1, 2, 3, 4 laps plus that little punch at the finish. We can see here comes the pace. So we're going to start seeing splits, and in fact, there is a big split just now. 42 riders off the front. Those guys aren't too far behind yet. They might latch back on, and they do for now, but it's still yo-yoing. You can see they haven't really regained contact. And again, here's that finish. You can see just right about there, it really ramps up. So 45 riders, now it's down to 30K. Now let's try to get the rider's perspective. We can start seeing how steep this is. As we have just 42 riders, and I've got my entire team still here. Here's the downhill, there's the bridge, and then bam, we start going up. That first little steep one levels off, comes around a couple bends, across the bridge again, little up. Here we go, uphill to the finish. Punchy, that last couple 100 meters is about all you can get for a sprint at that point for your final sprinter. So you really need to wait late for whoever will be final in the sprint. One rider left off the front, he's only got 20 seconds left, and the peloton is shrinking down to 32 riders. So the gaps are opening behind us, not in front. We've got 19K to go. We've got 2 times left to go up. I think I'm going to wait until the top of this next one. I'm going to form a train, and we're going to attack once we get to the top. Ready? And there's up. Slow this down. We're not quite up to the top yet. This last little bit, and then we're going to form up, and it's down to 15 kilometers. Where the blue car is, the team car there, that seems to be the height. So we're going to hit this corner. And there we go. All right, 14K, and I've still got the entire team, which is actually really surprising. This is not what I expected. Now, Bax is tired, but Veltman's looking good. He can sprint a bit. Vervecchi, he doesn't have a sprint. Swerble doesn't have a sprint. Osorio kind of has a sprint. Conchi definitely has a sprint, so he just moved himself back up the order. I was not expecting a full group here. Now, Bax is going to try to hang on to the back end. And I think it's Veldeman that he's going to try to hang on to. And Veldeman's going to follow Conchi. And then, is it Swerble? Osorio. Okay, Osorio's okay. And then Swerble. And then Vervecchi. It's a heck of a lineup there. And then Simpson. Now, Simpson, he's not going to last long, but we'll get something out of him. Vervecchi, let's go ahead and use your gel. And Simpson, let's start putting a hurting on. It's going to be downhill, so he might survive at least the downhill if we don't overdo. No, he's not. He's just here on the flat, just bringing the team forward. He might survive. Vervecchi. Come on, guys. What's going on here? Swerble. Do I have the whole team here? No. Veldeman, come on. And Bax. Bax just catching that free ride. Alright, here we go. Simpson's done. And he's really opened us up. Now, see, next time, look at that. We would have total control, but there's 31 riders. It's not like those guys were trying to sprint or anything, so don't expect it to be the same next time. Here we go. We are already almost done with the final climb, and it's down to 29 riders. Bax does not have the energy, so we're going to be racing for Veldeman most likely. And Vervecchi hanging on still. Oh, no, you follow here. Okay. It's 3K. We're down to 3K. Going 99s. It's 29. We've got the advantage. And here we go. We're going to hit these little uphills. 2K to go. Swerble's just taking us on through. He's taking us right to the end here. I'm going to sprint Swerble. I might as well. It's 1K to go. Osorio. Conchi, sprint. Veldeman. No, Veldeman, you hang on. Veldeman, hang on. There you go. Sprint. And Bax. sprint. Osorio's in the best position right now. Back's the best sprinter. Barguil, Mollard. But we're going to get third. Osorio gets third. Conchi gets fourth. Bax takes sixth. Veldeman eighth. I'm all over that top 10. Vervecchi 11th. Swerble 13th. It's a good result considering that's all World Tour guys up there, pretty much. Barguil, at least was. He was one of the best riders in the world. I have no idea what happened to him, how he dropped so bad in form these last couple of years. But we forced a small group finish, and we littered ourselves across the top 10, across top 15. So really good result overall. And we do get one guy onto the podium in Osorio. It's like you wish you could get a win, but in that situation against that quality of rider, got to be pretty happy with what we got. And the amazing thing was I had most of the team left at the end still. I thought for sure I'd exhaust most of those guys, but most of those guys handled those climbs just fine. Now, if it was that other climb, I think we would have dropped a lot more riders. But that climb just wasn't that severe. And I had so many quality climbers, but not sprinters, that, well, and our sprinter Bax was just barely hanging on till the end. Did end up getting there, but again, it was because it wasn't that intense. Either way, that's two good results out of two tough races. Not the best. We didn't get the win, but I'd love to get this team into World Tour. I miss that promotion relegation because we'd have it. We're easily winning the continental level. I wish there was at least some sort of combination, right? The bottom team in the World Tour and the top team in Pro Continental are automatically relegated regardless of the team quality going into that next year. But right away, we've already got another race. It's all back-to-back-to-back. Tour de Vendée, and it's cobbles, and that is definitely not our team strength. So good luck to us on that one. But we'll do what we can. Pay out okay there. Let's see what is left now. We're getting quite close to the end of the season. Very, very close here. And 14th is our final race. Got Tour de Vendée, Paris Tour, and Chrono des Nations. And that one, 48 kilometer, I think that's time trial. Alright, well, I'm actually on a really limited time scale right now. We've only got 3 races left in the year, so we are definitely going to hit the end of it very, very soon. But I'm going to have to call that one an episode. Let's make sure nothing's changed here. There we go, 36. So we went from just getting into Continental Pro in terms of the rating to comfortably this time. But we're still not even in the we're still not even halfway up that list. And at this point in time, with no big riders left to sign, Andrani Giocattoli have passed UAE on the list. So UAE will be a Continental Pro team next season if things stand as they are now. And you can see a couple continental teams making massive jumps. Which Continental Pros? Delco Marseille are in danger. Elkov, the last one out right now. Sport Vlaanderen. And Aqua Protect are way down the list from where they were a season ago. And there you go. It's a lot of teams. But that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. And remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe and tune in next time on my Road to the Record. Bye for now.